Hi, Rick. It's great to see you. You ready?
Well, good morning, Keith. Yes, great to see you as well.
Great, great. So let's do a show on spring cleaning if you don't mind kicking it off.
You know, it is the spring, isn't it? So here we are, late April, early May, and the thing that always happens, I think, with seasons is that we tend to adjust to the new weather. So we're coming off of, at least up in Sedona, fairly mild but still cold winter, and summer's almost here, which means a lot of heat no matter where you are in Arizona, except Flagstaff, I suppose, and Mount Lemmon, in Tucson. But the idea is that when the seasons change, it's an opportunity for humans to reevaluate, to look where we're at and to see what we liked and what we don't like about our lives. And so I guess what I like to do in the spring is a little spring cleaning. And I'm not necessarily talking about closets or drawers. I'm really talking about what works in our life and what doesn't. And I think that's really important to do. And since the seasons change, there's four of them. So every 3 months, I think 90 days is a good period to allow to pass before we reevaluate, and then use that time, that 3 month period, to sort of evaluate where we've been, where we want to go. So I guess I'd start off by saying, for me, I try to start with the question, Rick, what is necessary in your life? What is really important in your life? A closet full of shoes, the latest clothes. I go online and I see something and I buy it, a refrigerator and cabinet full of stuff that I never use that's just sitting there gathering dust, and then I take it out and dust it off and donate it. It doesn't serve me at all. How about the latest gadgets? A new car. How about, yeah, that TV? There's a bigger flat screen I could get. Oh, I don't have the latest iPod. Maybe I'm missing something. So, those things are easy to get rid of or to recognize are unnecessary. But harder things to recognize that are unnecessary are the things that we get trapped into doing, the things we always say yes to just because we have, or because we don't want to disappoint other people, or because we think that we have to put ourselves behind others when really all we have is our life and our experience and the time that's given to us to experience whatever we think is important and valuable and good. So I guess what I'd start with by saying the first question of spring cleaning ought to be, what is necessary? And just a reminder, and hopefully gets us down the path of thinking, hey, there's much in our lives that is simply not necessary. So what's necessary to you, Keith?
Oh man, that's great, Rick. This is the question that you and I have pondered over the years and really done a lot of evaluation of our lives and where we are. And what I'm really happy about is the things that I feel necessary have stayed consistent. So, for example, my practice every single day of staying true to that over the last 9 years. These friendships that really help me grow and really help me further my development are, I feel, necessary in a good way. And so I'm really, really grateful for that. Most recently, I was talking to our good friend Brian Chong. We talked yesterday, and he said he always valued community. But now that he has, moved away, he says it's crystal clear to him about the benefits that community provided him on a regular basis. He never took it for granted, but now that he's in a new place where the community hasn't been established for him, he's aware of his heart missing that. He's aware of the longing. He's aware of the sorrow that his heart is feeling, and he's just allowing that to be an experience that he's having right now, and to appreciate and be grateful for it. And he's just really a great person. So coming on the heels of that conversation with Brian, one of the things that I am really making a conscious effort of in terms of what's necessary are the relationships in my life that are very, very nurturing. I'm really making a commitment to water those, to pour into those. So that's something I think those two things are necessary for me, Rick. The practice and in this community that you and I are part of with these deep, deep friendships. Other than that, Rick, I got nothing to add, man. If you want to add a little bit more or close us out on this topic.
I think the main thing for everyone to recognize is that whatever is necessary is personal to you.
Yeah.
There's no rights or wrongs. It's what you feel in your heart. And I think the important part is the idea to lighten our loads,
Yes.
to take life a little less seriously, at least a little less seriously than our minds make it out to be. You know, life is always fleeting, and it's too short to always be taken so seriously. And if we unweight a little bit, if we lighten our load a little bit, and focus just on what's necessary, I think it's a happier, wonderful experience. And the other thing that I think is important too is that once you focus on what's necessary, like you say, to practice community, friendships, you know, it's easier to be more humble. It's easier to understand that your wants are very few. You know, the humility comes from realizing that you're not responsible for everything in the world, and it comes from recognizing that you're not only small, but that your efforts are important to the extent that you can help other people. And not being selfish is a great way to lighten up.
Oh, Rick, I really agree with that. And I think that selfishness part that you hit was right on point. You know, when you say lighten the load in terms of what's necessary, and I mentioned that the community and the friendships I feel are, necessary. And when I say necessary, not meaning that I would die without it, but they are so beneficial to my life. And one of the things that I'm doing with that unweighting that you mentioned, the lightening up is I'm not bringing my ego to those friendships. I'm checking that at the door so that I don't take exception to what somebody says, or if they, my mind says they have not included me, or whatever that nonsense is that becomes a barrier to those relationships really being, rich and beautiful, and just giving. I just want to pour into all of that. And I find that when I leave the personal self at the door, that I'm able to pour into it and I'm able to receive too without making anything a problem in my relationship. So Rick, I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you, Keith. Thanks for a really interesting, insightful view about the importance of practice in community. Thank you.
Thank you.